free. We're going to get to Power Rangers now. We're going to hear from those brand new Power Rangers. They're all very young, very shiny, possibly too young and too shiny, but we'll get to it. We've got Naomi Scott, Becky G, Dacre Montgomery, RJ Cyler and Ludi speaking about the brand new film after this clip.
Hey guys! What? Check out how we glow. Oh yeah. I like this.
I'm blue. It's not my favorite color, but it's cool.
Oh, I'm black.
What?
I am.
No, you're not. Hey guys, there's something down there. Just follow me. Where are we? Jason, I'm sliding.
It's funny because I don't remember the shows like that vividly. I'm sure I did watch them. But one vivid memory I do have is me playing Power Rangers with my brother. Mm-hmm. So like the fact that we would like be on opposite sides of the room and we go Power Rangers and then we'd like run and like fight. But so it's funny that even if you didn't remember specifically the shows, like you played Power Rangers, you wanted to be a Power Ranger. So that kind of shows how iconic it actually is.
For me, I was introduced to it very young. I was, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers came out in '93, and I was born in '97. So I was introduced a little bit later than all of my older cousins. But it was just the idea of like being able to be superheroes with your friends, and like the colors that really like clicked with me at such a young age, and of course the action, the flipping, and the kapow. But I think now you got asked how we felt about being a part of the film. I'm really glad that in this Power Rangers movie, although the names do sound familiar, you are meeting our characters for the first time. We're making this Power Ranger movie for this generation that's going to be introduced because it's real, it's relatable, and we're dealing with real 2017 teenage issues. And I felt like this is like the first time we get to dive into the stories of these kids, you know what I mean? And it's much more character driven, so that's why I was super excited.
I remember this one time we were on set and there's this mirror, I think you see it in the trailer, this mirror in the bathroom before I break the sink. And the mirror's like suspended up on this wall bracket and I'm like looking at myself. And I remember Dean came and he was like, look into yourself and into Jason. And I suppose it's quite esoteric when I say it, but to have that experience in that 5 minutes where Dean was just like, who is that person?
Yeah.
What does he want to be? And I remember when I was younger looking at myself in the mirror going, like, who the hell am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do with my life? Like, where do I fit in society?
Yeah.
So that was a little experiment.
Sometimes, you know, like when you hit just that stage in life to where you need to know exactly who you want to be in the next, because it's like you don't have a whole bunch of time to figure that out. So it's like you just hit this wall and then you just it's like you send yourself into this whole different bracket of thinking. It's just, you know, really exciting to show that in this movie also, to where, you know, you see the growth in Jason, the growth in Billy, the growth in Zach,
Right.
Trini and Kimberly, you know, it's really cool.
I mean, these are realistic teens going through realistic problems that are very, very concurrent to the modern age and time. So, and nobody's perfect out there. I think that's why it resonates with a lot of the audiences, because nobody within us is perfect. So for Zach himself, he might portray or come across as someone who's very strong and perfect, but he's truly very insecure inside and dealing with different problems.
Naomi Scott, Becky G, Dacre Montgomery, RJ Cyler and Ludi, the brand new Power Rangers. Go. Brilliant. It's the cheese, the nostalgia for a lot of people. As we said though, we didn't watch it, so there was no real.
No, I had the props, but I didn't watch it.
I watched a few episodes.
I never even saw it. I didn't have the channel it was on. I didn't, like, all the kids in the playground were like, you know what, Power? I was like, I don't have the channel, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't have watched it. But I think that gave me some kind of advantage going into this. The fact that I'd never seen it before, I sort of knew vaguely what it was like, the concept and stuff. And I went in with a fresh pair of eyes. Did that influence my opinion, or Ryan's opinion as well? Let's find out. What it's all about, though, for those who aren't familiar, like myself.
Well, I mean, it's a reboot of the massively popular franchise, as you see, and we've got 5 teenagers, including Dacre Montgomery and RJ Cyler from Mila and the Curly World, which we all absolutely love.
Love it.
And in this new Power Rangers, they stumble across these strange coloured beacons, which give them all superhuman powers, and they find out that those used to belong to a team that was led by Zordon, Bryan Cranston, who 65 million years ago defeated Rita Repulsa, and now, yeah, that name, it's just a great villain name, that, like.
It's up there with, like, Unobtainium unobtainium and
Yeah.
stuff like that from Avatar.
Oh, God,
Just
unobtainium.
how obvious can you be?
Yeah, and they are all recruited as the new Power Rangers because Rita's returned to seek revenge, and they must get over their real-life struggles to band together and become heroes and save the world.
Isn't it funny that it's always, everything always happens in like, the same town with these kind of stories? It's always like such a small town, but it only ever like seems to affect that area.
Yeah.
Like in this, it's all about Angel Grove, but it never seems to go any further than that. Like,
You
it
think they were
seems
like?
weird. It's just like it's such a small town.
Like, where are the-
All
where are the
stuff-
parents?
You
Yeah,
think
where
they
are
would,
the-
you think
where
they
are
would
the
move?
parents?
Oh, you think they would move? I
Yeah.
mean, like, all the stuff's happening.
Just like, you know what, guys? Like, we're Power Rangers, I know, but we've got better things we could be doing than this. It's just a waste of our time.
Sequel.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, there's going to be 6, isn't there? So
Oh, God, yeah.
Ooh, man.
I presume they will move at some point, not just stay in that little
Cinematic
little
universe
hovel.
for you. Cinematic universe for you.
Yep.
Everyone. So I'll start with the things I did like.
Okay, good.
Right, okay.
Good.
The character work in this film is way above the protocol that you would expect from something called Power Rangers and something involving this campy TV series that we know, even though we haven't seen it. But I mean, it's just the fact that it does have plenty of good character building in there. And like there's a scene with a campfire where they all sort of just let their sort of real emotions out and they sort of connect together for the first time. And that's better character work than you would get in anything in the DC universe right now. You
It's
know,
not like a
because-
complete thud to the face with sentimentality. Or,
Yeah.
It's like, it's natural, it's nice, it flows well.
Yeah, it definitely
They
does.
feel like real teenagers.
Like all of the main cast, they work like amazingly well together. Especially Naomi Scott and, like I said, RJ Cyler. Like they feel like standout characters that are being written with passion rather than just being written in there to save Martha.
Yeah.
Or
Why'd you say that now?
punch General Zod for 30 minutes as certain films in the DC. Yeah, and they feel like real teens and not characters most of the time. Of course, there is natural stuff, and there has
There's
been
only
praise.
small little bits where they
Yeah.
go like, yeah, dude, and
Yeah.
it's only little bits.
I
It could be
mean,
more.
obviously there is heavy Breakfast Club homages in here, isn't there? I mean, they literally are in detention to start with. I mean,
I think
it's-
that must have been some kind of influence in
Yeah.
there, surely.
And obviously, there's been loads of praise for the fact that there's an LGBT character and there's a character with autism. But the most important thing is that they don't let that define them. That's just part of their character. It's not who they are. It's not like, RJ Cyler's character is the one with autism. He's not like, hey, this is me, I've got that. It's just sort of a passing thing. And like you see through his character that he does have it. And it's nice to see that kind of representation on screen.
Yeah.
So you really can get behind them. But to be honest, for me, that's probably about as much as I could say that I liked in terms of what it is for the film. Because, like, I don't know, like it's just a film that has so many awkward tonal shifts that you really, really don't know what you're watching. Like, I mean, to be honest, I don't know whether it was going to be camp, whether it was trying to be serious. Like, is it trying to be the TV show? Is it trying to be something new, dark and gritty? Like everyone thinks it's great now. What was the story?
What?
Like, it was completely lackluster, and the humour just falls consistently flat from time to time. It opens with a bestiality joke.
It does, and we're not going to say what it is, but it's,
yeah.
that does set the tone really badly.
It does really set the tone, and just from there, it just falls back on so many of the worst tropes. I mean, you've got a comedy sidekick in there who's a bit Jar Jar Binks. He's got that comedy catchphrase, and he's there for a bit of levity, but he just does not fit at all. And it just does not fail to land. I mean, it does fail to land constantly. I mean, the cringy moments are so cringy, and there's moments when it's like it's about as subtle as a brick, to be honest. Because as you say it, I've got the power. Mm-hmm. And you
It's
know what
good
else?
though, I like
and then
that.
there's moments in there where "Power" by Kanye West comes up. Like, get it, because it's Power Rangers. Power.
Like what
power.
else? What else are you going to put there? Like
I don't know. It's just I just don't know what to think. And then we get to Elizabeth Banks, who is probably comparable to Cara Delevingne in her belly dancing goddess in Suicide Squad,
That's
or
not
Eddie
possible.
Redmayne in his whispery, shouty voice
Fight
in
and talk, that's on.
Jupiter Ascending. But it's just not. I didn't hate it. I just think it was far too forgettable, to be honest, because it didn't land for me. And
Okay.
yeah, you feel
Okay.
very differently.
I do feel very differently, and I think all of those things there, like a lot of them are red flags for me. A lot of those things, like sort of cringiness and jokes that don't land, and awkwardness, and a comedy sidekick and all that stuff, and the first opening joke, which is just like for a 12-year, it's just ridiculous. But all of those, a lot of these things should really put me off, but it completely did not. I think I really, really enjoyed it. It's just really fun. The tonal shift I disagree with. I think they do with them fairly well. I think I was in this kind of little bubble. I think I was just enjoying it so much that all the bad stuff just washed straight over us. I think I just enjoyed it that much.
Do you
And
think
I don't know.
Do you think you would have enjoyed it as much as you knew what the show was like
Well,
as a fan?
This is the thing. I think most of the people who don't like it, I mean, critics withstanding, critics have genuine reasons for not liking it, but I think they're just kind of jumping on the bandwagon, some of them. I think genuinely some fans of the show don't like it because they love the show so much and they don't like seeing the dark and gritty stuff. And it's not that dark and gritty. It is still quite cheesy and quite funny and quite hammy and still quite camp and all that stuff. it's got more heart to it. I like the characters. It really works, all the character stuff. One thing I found really interesting was the dynamic of them is that they kind of lined up like the lineup of all of our favorite TV shows, Community. So if you're not familiar, this is a show from America, on for about, well, it was on 6 seasons, no movie. What a shame.
Yet.
Nah, I can't see it happening. But it was like a sort of a college study group. They all had their own sort of problems. They all kind of became really good friends over that time. And this really resembled that, and I think that might be why I liked it so much. You've even got like a Jeff Winger of the group who gives all the speeches. It's I don't know, it just lined up really nicely. I think I spent the entire time waiting for something to really, really throw us off, like something to make me hate it. And I spent the first 5 minutes going, "Oh God, here it is, come on!" And it never happened. And then by the time I got over that little bubble of being like, "Oh dear," I just realised that it's just so much fun, and I'm looking forward to a second one.
There is room to build.
I think like 6 is a bit much. I think the quality will not be maintained across 6 films. It never is, unless it's like Harry Potter or something. But Power Rangers, this is better than it deserved to be, I think. Pleasantly surprised.
There's definitely room to build, I think. I mean, the cast, like I said, is, I did enjoy watching them interact, but I like the soundtrack as well. I felt like it had a story itself. Brian Tyler did that. Again, he did like Iron Man 3 and stuff like that. Great composer, but I don't know. For me, I just think it was too unsure of what I wanted to be. I'm glad you enjoyed it though. I'm glad.
I'm glad I enjoyed it as well, and I'm disappointed that you didn't really. We've had some correspondence on this. We've had one from Scott. He says part of the charm of the Power Rangers TV show is that it knew it sucked. It amped up the cheese to 11. The new film adaptation seems to have a lot of silliness without knowing it. The script and acting has as much charisma as a frying pan to the face. The CGI was murder. I disagree with that. I thought the CGI was actually fairly impressive.
For
I
a
was
Power
sort
Rangers
of
film, it
fairly
was.
impressed by the CGI. And he says the crispy product, cream placement, Krispy Kreme was donuts, relentlessly painful. And that's kind of what it does feel like in some parts of the film. But I actually think they did some interesting things with the product placement. There's literally a bit where they're saying, where's the thingy kept? I don't know what they're talking about. But it says, it's in Krispy Kreme. And she goes, Rita Repulsa, she goes, the giver of life. That's just, if you're going to integrate it in and like do it as clunky as that, you're going to do it properly, aren't you? One from Alex, he says, Power Rangers was unbelievably silly, but it was really enjoyable. Even though it's really silly, it is the essence of the Power Rangers of the 90s. The new Rangers all work really well together, and by all being different races and sexualities, it really freshens up the story and works well. Elizabeth Banks is wicked as the villain Rita Repulsa. I never cared for her much in the series, but she proved a great villain for the film, and Bryan Cranston as Zordon was perfectly on point. Overall, it was thoroughly enjoyable and a nice surprise. I'll definitely watch it again soon. Just home from seeing Power Rangers, says Marcus, and thought it was really well produced and a nice introduction for those who don't know the story or characters, and if you see it, stay for a credit scene, which probably makes more sense if you've seen the stuff. To us it was kind of like, okay. Cool. And one from Chris finally, he says, I really enjoyed it. It's not going to win any awards anytime soon. No. Maybe some Razzies for those who don't like it, but not from me. I like it. But it was a nice up-to-date retelling of the original series. All of the characters are likeable. Cranston and Banks were wasted and just used as names to promote the film. It's true that they are like 2 of 3 big names in the whole bill, but I disagree with that as well. If you've got any thoughts on Power Rangers, please do get in touch before the show is finished at 11 o'clock, or even, through the week. We'll get them in for next week. Drop us a line on Spark, Sunderland, or LRJ Film Show. Recommend, Ryan?
I can't see in all honesty that I would. I'm sorry.
Well, that's
I'm very sorry.
Very disappointing.
If you like the show, go and watch it though.
Well, Alex, who got in touch, said I should go and revisit the TV series on Netflix. It's all on Netflix, apparently. So